where is that your precious little voice? I don't know whose it was, but is that you, Tony?
Yeah.
Hold on a minute. Don't you love getting a cold like in the spring now? Although what's great about it is like apparently, I don't even know what season it is right now. I have no idea.
Michigan season.
Oh, I guess it was a fishing season.
No.
Thank you. I couldn't argue with that. It was cool. I appreciate you guys. I was gone last week. Thank you, Pastor Jack, for filling in. Yeah, give me a hand. It's such a blessing. It's such a blessing to have Pastor Jack here willing to fill in. Give me a chance to take off every once in a while, give you guys a break. I went golfing. Here's the thing about golf. I enjoy the idea of golf. You know, the concept of it in terms of like, you know, getting out on a nice sunshiny day, you know, and out into the great outdoors, and a lot of the courses they have, you know, beautifully manicured and wonderful with the grass and the birds and nature. And but I'll tell you what, it usually doesn't take very long before I have this harsh reality of what exactly my skill level is at the sport of golfing. Now, I'm not blaming anyone else. I don't have the time or the money really to put into practicing in order to have any sort of consistency in this activity. So what I enjoy about golf is that every swing for me is a surprise. It's a surprise. It's like it's the first time it's ever happened. I honestly have no idea what's going to happen. I'm doing the things that I used to do, and I think in my mind is going to achieve the right result. I always take time to line up. I always take time to line up my shot. I look to see where the flag is. You're supposed to go towards the flag and forward. Most of them. I look to see if there are any hazards. Any sort of sand. Well, that's what they do. They take these wonderful green grass and trees, and somebody decided, let's put sandboxes all over it. See what that'll be like. That's a natural thing. But anyway, I look to see that. I check the card, because on the card they'll give you little maps that will show you where things are and certain distances to things. And if you've never played golf before, you have an entire arsenal in your golf bag of various tools. Each one of them are supposed to sort of accomplish a different thing. All of them intended to hit the ball and move it forward, but at different distances. Some clubs are a little bit have a little bit more angle on them, so you can hit them higher and shorter. Some of them are straighter, so you can hit them a little bit longer, depending on how far you have to go. So you have to have a general idea of your ability to hit these clubs at different distances and be able to tell where you are. Man, it's like math. Crazy. You'll do this for fun. And I'm like, you guys are all like, yeah, absolutely. You know, where do I buy some clubs? Sounds great. But you know, I always check the card and I look and I'm lining up, and I tell you, sometimes I will even take a practice swing. A practice swing is just like a regular swing, only it's for practice. And what you'll do is you'll stand beside the ball, and you'll line up like you're going to hit the ball. But then you'll back up just a little bit, and you'll swing right next to the ball. So I think it's kind of like to intimidate the ball. Like you're telling the ball, this is what is going to happen to you. But what you're doing is you're trying to create, you know, you get loose and trying to create a sense of muscle memory, you know, like you're trying to get a good feel that, oh yeah, that's the spot, that's the swing right there. I try not to take too many practice swings because I figure I only have so many good swings anyway. And I don't want to waste any on a practice. That could have been my one good swing, and then I didn't even hit anything. So then you have to address the ball. address the ball and taking into consideration all of the equations and formulas. You gotta think about the wind. You gotta think about the noise that's around you, because if there's noise, if there's some grounds crew or something doing mowing, you gotta make sure that that's not in your head, because just in your backswing and you hear this, that can mess everything up. So you gotta make sure that you have controlled your environment, that the noises are under control. You gotta focus. You've gotta, think about which club that you've chosen. Is that the right one? Do you hit it at a full speed, or do you kind of back off a little bit? You gotta look to see if there are any trees above. Man, there is a lot. I try to tell my wife this is why I'm so exhausted after a day of golf. It's a lot of work to have fun. And then, I always line it up and try in my mind to visualize. I don't know if are anybody here visualizers? Any visualizers? Okay, great. You sort of picture in your mind the outlet, what's going to happen. You sort of see it and then do it. That kind of thing. You kind of work yourself into that. So I do, and I will go through the whole thing. And every time, I swear, it's a surprise. I don't know what's going to happen. I could honestly hit the ball. I have had a ball that I've hit at a full-grown man's swing end up behind me. This little ball swing as hard as I can, because I don't know about everybody else. My idea of golfing is to swing as hard as you can. I'm sure there's a different way. I'm sure there's a better method, but to me, it is, if I'm going to sit here, if I'm going to hit this ball, I'm going to hit it as literally as far as I can with this little club as possible. I'm going to hit it, I'm going to swing it every time. I have actually flat out missed the ball entirely. I've lined it up, taken my practice swing, and addressed the ball, and I go back to swing, and I didn't hit anything. The ball is still exactly where I left it. I was trying to hit it. Now, what you have to do there, because all the people that you're golfing with just saw that. They saw it. You have to now, it's a challenge, you have to now present it as if that was an actual practice swing. Right? You missed it, they saw you missed it, they know you know, but you have to be like, you don't talk about it. Don't act like it happened. You just readdress the ball like that was your practice swing. That is how you have to do it. It's sort of an unwritten code of golf. I've hit the ball and had it just scoot across the ground. Just every possible mistake that you could make on a golf course, I'd probably make. And added a few others. And every once in a while, like the planets align, and the sky opens up and the angels surround you. And it is as if you are in Augusta at the Masters. And that's a big golf thing. It's like a term for professionals. And you're walking up to, and everything feels good. Everything is on time. You strike the ball with such glorious thunder that Thor himself will be proud of it. And it hits it in the sweet spot of the club. You barely even feel it, and the ball goes like a dart, splitting the sky, not wavering to the left, to the right exactly where you aimed it, and you stare at it. Not because you've never seen it before, because you can't believe it happened to you. And it's going right towards the destination. It's a glorious sight. And you watch, and you're just hoping, maybe this is that one moment where it actually does something glorious, like it'll hit like right on the edge of the green, and it'll roll up on the seat and we're going to go in a hole, and I'll have like a bird eagle or something. Boondoggle, I don't know what they call it. And it'll be awesome. I'll tell everybody about it. And it's that one shot. I usually have maybe one per like 100 holes. There's only 18 in one. That's what keeps you on that. But I got a chance to go golfing this last weekend, and we were in Arizona. And I got thinking about all this, and I was thinking about, you know, part of my occupational hazard as a pastor is that you're always trying to draw parallels to things and stuff like that. I was thinking about I'll be honest. I was thinking about why do I keep playing this stupid game? because I'm usually like miserable. Like, oh man. Because you remember that good shot, and then all the others that are terrible, you're like, why did I do it? I didn't sing. It wasn't. And it went, ding. I don't understand. And it gets frustrating. But I thought, life is so similar to so many of the challenges, and a lot of times sports is what's great about sports, whether it's golf or other things, is that it teaches us so much about life. And what's important about it is that it gives you this opportunity to really to think. It's usually quiet out there, and you have to like make plans, and you have to take all these things into account. And in life, there's like a million of these choices that we have every day. And life is always giving us things that we didn't expect. And how do we deal with that? It seems like over the last month or few weeks, I've had so many people in our church have life just really surprised them. Good, bad, and otherwise, to be honest. There's some people that have had some amazing victories. There's some people that have had some heart-wrenching losses. And there's a lot of us, there's somewhere in between. We're just kind of plodding through and going from one place to the next. Can't wait till summer and things that are going on. But every one of us are taking a look at this life, and we're having those calculations that we're making. Do I have the right tools? Am I aimed in the right direction? Are there things are there distractions around me that are keeping me from getting a good result? And maybe you've had good days or bad days in the past, but here we are addressing this opportunity that we have called today. This opportunity we have called this life. And one of the challenges is to overcome all of the things in the past, all of the things that have just happened, the stuff that maybe has been a discouraging force in our life. To try to overcome that to a place where it doesn't adversely affect the challenge that we have in front of us right now. And I say overcome that because it's not like we forget what's happened, good or bad. I think it's important to celebrate the things that happen that are good, and it's important to remember the things that have happened to us that hurt, that were difficult, that were losses. We carry those scars and those things around a lot of times. You don't want it to hinder you from your next opportunity, but at the same time, you don't want to totally write all that off, because what's the point if everything that we've lost doesn't somehow affect how we move forward? So I was thinking about all that. I know it's Mother's Day, and I don't want to ignore all the moms that are here, because let's be honest, none of us would be here if it wasn't for our moms. That's a required pastor joke. I don't know if you knew that. I just want to get that credit. But I am truly thankful for all of our moms. You guys are inspired by so many standards. There are many here who maybe your mom's not with you, maybe she's not here, or maybe you've lost her. And Mother's Day is always that tricky time where we celebrate mom, and that brings up all kinds of stuff, right? Maybe you didn't have the best mom. Maybe she made mistakes. Is there a mom here who hasn't made a mistake? Just real quick. Nobody? Okay, good. So we're all on that thing. What I'm saying is, it brings up a lot of celebratory and happy feelings, but it also brings up some sadness, right? If your mom's with you, if she's here, don't forget to tell her that you love her. Love your mom. Mom's here. Don't forget to tell her how much you appreciate her. Don't forget to give her a flower or do something that's nice for your moms. I think God would be honored by that. Because we honor our parents as well. But getting back to this idea of facing life's challenges, I want to go to a passage of scripture where we don't usually teach out of this book a lot. A lot of times we pick sections of it to sort of support other teachings that we're doing. But there's a couple chapters here on the front end of Proverbs that are really powerful. And a lot of other things throughout Proverbs. I encourage you to make Proverbs a regular part of your reading plan. Whatever reading plan you have as far as your devotions. I always think it's good to pull in something from Psalms and something from Proverbs, and along with whatever it is that you're reading for that day. But I want to look at Proverbs chapter 4. So, if you guys don't mind joining me there. I apologize for this. I went to Arizona and got a cold. It's just like, that's the way it goes. That's it. So, brought it back here. It's exciting. It's my favorite. I'm hoping that as we go through this chapter that we'll be able to receive some truths from Scripture, from God's Word, that will help us as we're thinking about life and thinking about what's facing us ahead. Verse 1, Proverbs 4. Listen, my sons, to a father's instruction. Pay attention and gain understanding. I give you sound learning, so do not forsake my teaching. When I was a boy in my father's house, still tender, and only child of my mother, he taught me and said, lay hold of my words with all your heart. Keep my commands and you will live. Get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or swerve from them. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. So you've got this relationship with this father and son, and he's imploring his son to listen. Now, I don't know how many times I've said this as a parent. I think it's somewhere around infinity. If you've had children in your home, and you have been a caretaker of these children, at some point, you have had to physically grab them by the face muscles and look them in the eyeball sockets and say to them gently and lovingly, listen to me. Right? Maybe you've had that done to you as a husband. Maybe not. Listen to me. Why is it we get so distracted easily, right? We get so distracted. We live in probably the most saturated time in all of human history with stimulus. It's all around us. Whether it's stuff to look at, you realize on the phone that you have, all of the things that you have available, whether they're meaningful or not, just to distract you from what's going on. The technology that we have, it's a great time to be alive. But I want you to hear the heart of this father leaning towards his children and saying to them, listen to me. There is some something that you have to understand. This is not something that you can take just in one ear and out the other. This is not something that you listen to while other stuff is going on. I need you to sit here. I need you to look me in the eyes. I need you to hear this, because it'll change everything for you. And he says to him, get wisdom, get understanding. Get wisdom, get understanding. Probably the two of the most important tools that you or I could possess. Wisdom and understanding. How do you get them? Well, you get them, unfortunately, sometimes by sort of like reverse osmosis, right? You sort of by making mistakes and having experiences. But you also get them by listening and learning and observing. And you put things together. If you are a person who can learn from the mistakes of others, that will oftentimes keep you from making your own. And it's one of the things that requires humility. If you want to have wisdom and understanding, you have to have humility. Because without humility, you can't learn anything. Because you know it all. We all know these people, and maybe you've struggled with that in some level in your own personal life, where you think you know it all, you think you have everything you need, you don't want to listen to anybody's advice or what anybody else says or any other input from it. You're going to go and do your thing regardless of any other input, and all of a sudden, sometimes it turns out right, sometimes it turns out really poorly. But either way, you missed an opportunity to get wisdom and understanding by being humble enough to observe and listen to people around you that could have provided you with some good information. It says, get wisdom. What is wisdom? Wisdom is more than just knowledge, right? Knowledge is important. It's good to know things. One of the most dangerous things is a little bit of knowledge. Gives you enough confidence to get you in trouble. But wisdom is this ability to be able to synthesize all of experience, observation, and learning and knowledge, and to put it all together in a way that helps you make the most accurate decisions. And wisdom is powerful because it's not something that everybody has, right? We all just have wisdom? Same amount of wisdom? No. But the Bible says if anybody lacks wisdom, he can do what? He can ask. Ask God who gives generously, like a father who wants to give good gifts to his children. If you're lacking wisdom, one of the best ways to get it is to ask God to give it to you. Did you know you could do that? God, give me wisdom. Not just knowledge, but the ability to see and to put into place all of the pieces and the puzzle that's going on so that I can do what is right and what is good. Understanding. He said, do not forget my words or swerve from them. Do not forsake wisdom, and she will protect you. Love her, and she will watch over you. Wisdom is supreme. Therefore, get wisdom. Though it costs all you have, get understanding. Well, what's understanding? You know, we spend a lot of time trying to get other people to understand us. You know, have you ever been frustrated that it felt like somebody just didn't understand you? Have you ever looked at a situation and you just felt like whatever it is you were saying or whatever you're communicating, they're hearing it in some other language. And there is this miscommunication that's happening. And you're like, why don't you just understand? Understanding is this interpretive ability to be able to take what's being said or what's being done and be able to get it. Not just what it is, but what it means and the implications and the impact of it. To understand And he is telling his son here that wisdom, you need to love her. And you need to bring her into your life. And everything that you have, if it costs everything, you need understanding. I'll tell you one of the reasons that we don't understand is because we're selfish. It goes back to humility again. We're always, oftentimes, I shouldn't say oftentimes, we are more concerned with other people understanding us. We don't stop to listen and understand others. How many times have you stopped yourself and really tried to interpret where somebody was coming from? Or sometimes we go off and assume the worst of somebody. Or we have these prejudices or these things that come into play that keep us from really understanding what's going on. And he's saying that this misunderstanding will take you down a path of destruction. In order to have understanding, you need to value others as much as you value yourself. You need to make the effort of actually meeting somebody where they are and investigating what's going on in their situation, in their life, where they're coming from, so that you understand it. Stop trying to formulate your answers before you even know the question. Understanding is critical in our relationships and in life. He says, esteem her, and she will exalt you. Embrace her, and she will honor you. She will set a garland of grace on your head and present you with a crown of splendor. Listen, my son. Accept what I say, and the years of your life will be many. I guide you in the way of wisdom and lead you along straight paths. When you walk, your steps will not be hampered. When you run, you will not stumble. Hold on to instruction. Do not let it go. Guard it well, for it is your life. Verse 14. Do not set foot on the path of the wicked, or walk in the way of evil men. Avoid it. Do not travel on it. Turn from it and go on your way, for they cannot sleep until they do evil. They are robbed of slumber until they make someone fall. They eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence. The path of the righteous is like the first gleam of dawn, shining ever brighter till the full light of day. But the way of the wicked is like deep darkness. They do not know what makes them stumble. Two paths, right? He's talking about the path of the wicked and the path of the righteous, the way of the righteous. And what are his instructions about the path of the wicked? What are his instructions? To hang out and just get as close to the wicked or wicked things as possible and still survive it? To see how much wickedness that you can endure to prove how spiritually strong you are? Those are trick questions. He's saying, do not walk the path of the wicked. That begs the question, what is the path of the wicked? I want to suggest to you that there is a way of thinking, there is a way of living, there is a value system and structure that is associated with wickedness. And it exists in our world today. And if you cannot understand it or have the wisdom to see it, you are destined to fall into it. Because it's all around us. The path of the wicked is a very different path than the path of the righteous. And he is saying here, do not take a step down there. Don't see how far you can go and still survive. Stay away from it. Avoid it altogether. Listen to me. This is important. And I know you want to be cool. I know you want to fit in. And let me tell you this, as an adult, as a grown person standing here, the desire to fit in and be accepted does not stop at high school. Right? It doesn't stop at middle school. I've seen grown adults twist themselves into all kind of shapes and form of wickedness just so they can fit in somewhere with a group of people. They don't want their friends to say something bad about them. They don't want their neighbor to gossip about them. They don't want somebody to do. They want to fit in at work or in these situations. And they twist and they compromise and they rationalize all these changes just so that they don't have to feel left out. Well, let me just tell you, not following the path of wickedness is no kind of punishment as it relates to being left out. You want to be left out. Why? Why are we not asking as Christians, instead of how far we can get down, how close can we get to wickedness and still be Christians? Why are we asking that question instead of asking the question, how close can we get to God and still be in this world? How close can I get to the heart of God and the heart of Jesus, becoming like Him, and still be relevant in the world? Why are we asking that question? We should be asking that question as we evaluate the things that we do and the paths that we take. He's saying, don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by the wicked. Don't be fooled by the world, because they are bent. They are obsessed with causing others to fall, tearing things down, destruction, and bringing pain and heartache. It's like misery enjoys company, and they want more people in it and doing it and involved in it, and it kind of gives them their own validation. But it's false validation. He says the path of righteousness is bright. He says, my son, verse 20, pay attention to what I say. Listen closely to my words. Do not let them out of your sight. Keep them within your heart. For they are life to those who find them, and health to a man's whole body. Above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. Guard your heart. I wanted to, the whole reason for sharing that little nonsense about golf early on is because it's really easy to look at my scorecard or look at the outcomes of every swing that I've had and justify, just quitting. And I tell you what, in life, I have felt that same way in so many different situations. Guarding your heart is asking God, through wisdom and understanding, to help your heart survive the harsh reality of this life. There is pain and there is suffering. There is loss. There is disappointment. There is discouragement. There is betrayal. There is suffering of all kinds. And every single opportunity is another chance for your heart to wither, to grow cold, to become fractured and broken. It keeps you from loving. It keeps you from caring. It keeps you from giving. And God wants us to have a sensitive heart, a tender heart, that when you see an opportunity to help someone, that you're compelled to do it. Not because you have to, but because it speaks to your heart. And you have a heart after God. He says, guard your heart. Don't let your heart become callous and cold and broken. And I'll tell you what, some people in here in this room today, you're looking at it and you're saying, my heart's on the last leg. I've been defeated so many times, I'm ready to give it up. I want to tell you that God can restore the joy of your salvation. He can restore a broken heart. I don't know how it got broken. I don't know how it became cold, but God, by a miraculous touch of His Holy Spirit, if He can give you wisdom and understanding, He can give you a tender heart for Christ. Maybe that's what you need. He says, guard your heart. He says, put away perversity from your mouth. Keep corrupt talk from your lips. Because out of your mouth is what is coming from your heart. So the stuff that comes out of your mouth is just a window into what's going on in your heart. And you can say, well, I didn't mean to say that, or I shouldn't have said that, or oops, bring it back. But let me just tell you, the best way to know the condition of your heart is to listen to the tone and the words that come out of your mouth. Listen. Listen to yourself. What do you talk about? What do you say? How do you say it? Do you build people up? Do you encourage people? Do you bring light to people? Do your words bring strength to those around you and encouragement? Or are you cutting people down? Are you criticizing people? Are you always bringing venom and poison into whatever conversation that you're in? Do you look at things negatively and falsely? What comes out of your mouth is the expression of what's in your heart and the condition of your heart. So let's close with this. Let your eyes look straight ahead. Fix your gaze directly before you. Make level paths for your feet, and take only ways that are firm. Do not swerve to the right or to the left. Keep your foot from evil. Look straight ahead. There are so many distractions. Life is constantly pulling at us to make things more complicated and more confusing. But it's simple. Jesus said it's simple. All the law and all the prophets are summed up in these things. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, and love your neighbor as yourself. It's that simple. I'm not saying that's easy, but it's that simple. And when we focus our eyes on Jesus, and don't look to the side, left and right, compare ourselves to other things and other people, and we keep it simple, and we focus on what He's called us to do, to love God with all of our being, and to love our neighbors as if they were ourselves, to care for people genuinely and authentically. It's that simple. All the other stuff kind of falls into place. So I want you to bow your heads, close your eyes with me this morning. Here on this Mother's Day. If you give me a minute here, just really quickly, to slide back over. I want to create an opportunity here for us this morning. And I want you to just kind of picture Jesus leaning down and maybe putting His hands on the side of your face and looking deep into your eyes and saying, listen to me. Do you need wisdom? Do you need understanding? Ask for it and I will give it to you. What is the condition of your heart? Are you weary? Is it broken? Are you just sick and tired? You want to walk in the way of righteousness, but you just seem to constantly get taken down the path of the wicked. What is the condition of your heart? So I want to give you this opportunity to respond to the Holy Spirit just in and around us here this morning. And if you want to come forward, you're welcome to come forward. If you want to kneel right where you are, or sit in your seat and pray, do that. But would you please, each one of us, ask God for wisdom, ask God for understanding as we face this world together. But I want to ask you to have Jesus just kind of take a look at your heart. Just examine your heart for a minute. So just nobody's looking around, let's just focus on spending a moment here with Christ. And ask Him to look at your heart and to bring some healing and some help and hope into your heart to make it strong.
and to help you to focus and keep your eyes straight ahead on Jesus. So we're going to sing this song, and I just want you to carve out a little space here between you and Jesus, just to allow him to speak to you. So